team racing is and some of the really basic strategies that go along with it. So basically, team racing is 3 boats against 3 boats. You have, a team of 3, and the goal of team racing is to finish in a combination that gives you the lowest number of points. So there are a number of different winning combinations, and I'm not going to write them all down because you can figure them out. But
they're on the back of the shirt.
Basically, the goal in team racing is to have less than 10 points when you finish. So if you're on the primary color team over here, and you get like a 1, 2, 6, and then these guys are over here, being your 6th boat. Then you get 1 and 2 is 3, and 6 is 9 points. So the 1, 2, 6 there is a winning combination because you have less than 10 points. So you can imagine that, if you move things around, you can get other combinations. So blue, red, and yellow are now on a 1, 3, 6. And that's just winning because it's exactly 10.
But 10 isn't less than 10. So you have
10
less
or
than
less.
or equal to 10.
Right.
So.
I won't go into that. Okay, so basically, if this is a key thing, and if you can look it up online and see all the different combinations, and basically if you can know what the combinations are, it's a big help. If you're a crew, that's really important, so you can tell your skipper whether you need to be holding a position or whether you need to be working on getting a better position, because that's a big focus throughout the course, and it affects how you sail your race. So to start with, in team racing, when you come to the start, there are 2 main ways to start. One of them is starting geographically. So you can imagine that the start has 3 different zones. So you have like over in this area, in the middle, and then over in this area by the boat. And so you can spread out your team and have, you can decide that 1 team member will take each section, and then this person will try and get the best boat start they can, this person will get a really solid midline start, and this person will try and get a pin start. So it kind of spreads you out a little bit, you cover the whole playing field, and that way you can kind of work the course from that angle. The other way to start is like boat on boat. So just like in some other sports where you're covering 1 person, guarding them, that's the same thing with boats. So like 2 boats will match up and then they just stick to each other. And each boat will have their partner. And so by the time the start goes off, you want to be in a controlling position for that other boat. So if you're over here and you're yellow, you want to hold purple out all the way over here, and let your other teammates worry about their pairs. So you each focus on 1 group and take care of them. I guess I just back up a little bit here. This is what the course looks like, and it's a little pretty different from what you guys have sailed before. You have the start down here, and then you sail upwind to your windward mark. You go across an offset, sail downwind over to this mark, and then sail back upwind to the finish line. And that's called the digital end or collegiate end. It just offers a little more room to sail, and with the setup of it, it leaves a lot more room for tactics and stuff. You can do what are called mark traps, and that's a way that you can put yourself ahead of another boat. And so you can see that since there are all these different marks, you have plenty of opportunities to do it upwind and downwind and on a reach. So it involves a lot of different tactics.
Looks like brown.
So fun.
Before I go on into anything more, does anybody have any questions about kind of the basics of it? About like how you sail a course, what team racing is all about, anything like that? Because it'll get a lot more complicated really quick.
How about a cruise? What should cruise do?
Okay, good question. The cruise, as I said before, one should be thinking about your combination because that'll tell you how the skipper needs to sail. But some other things they need to be doing are watching how the rest of your team is doing. So just keep an eye on the other boats and let your skipper know where they are, as well as all the other fleet racing tactics for cruise. Looking for pressure, looking for if the course is favored or not. It's just feeding them information and telling you information about a boat if you're covering them. So if you're trying to stick with a boat upwind, your crew can be telling you, if you're higher and faster or lower and slower, just different things about your relative speeds, or about another pair on your team that's over here. They can tell you what's going on there while you're trying to sail against this boat. So they're there to help you out, and they should know what the combination is at all times. Any other questions? Okay, so we'll go into what a mark trap is briefly. We'll get into more detail, I think, in the next talk. But basically, as we learned in the rules talk, there are lots of rules that affect you when you're going into the zone around the mark, and there are rights regarding starboard and leeward. So all these come into play when you're going into the mark, and in team racing it's all about using those rules to your advantage to try and slow your opponent down or get your team in the lead and sailing as fast as they can. So basically, your mark trap is set up typically on starboard, but it can happen on other tacks. And you have your windward boat back here, and their goal is to try and pin this green boat out up here. This yellow boat would be someone on another team. This would be on green's team. This would be on blue's team. And blue is trying to get this boat in front of these two. So blue is basically trying to take green out of the race so that yellow on blue's team can get ahead and they get into a better combination. Because right here, blue and yellow's team is in a 1-3, and by accomplishing this, hopefully they can get a 1-2. So when you get up here, you sail along, and green can head blue up, but not all the way into the wind. So green can force blue to luff up like this, but they can't force them to tack all the way over. So blue is to windward, but they still have control in some sense over green here. So they're sailing up, and they get here. Green will be trying to head them up, but they don't care. They're trying to get their yellow boat up to the mark. So yellow now is sailing as fast as they can to get up there, and blue holds green out as long as they can, and yellow sneaks in behind them. And once they've done that, the blue boat just bears away and keeps sailing, and the green is forced to be in third now. So that's the basics of a mark trap at the windward mark. You're trying to pin one boat out and sneak your other boat inside. Any questions on that? And it's not clear. I'm sure it's not. Anybody? Chris?
You want to just touch on a little bit, like some of the different rules from fleet racing, like proper coursing and stuff like that?
it doesn't really come into play here in this situation. Liz?
I mean, I was just gonna say, you could generally just say like, when you see team racing, if they're still in 420s, like some of the people might not know.
Like what boat's in?
So I mean, I don't know if any, do you guys know what boats you team race in?
What?
I'm asking the newer people that may not
These
know.
people over here.
I just didn't know if you guys knew that these were all, that team racing was also in 420s, which we fleet race in too, and that we host the team racing.
And
Basic
then
stuff.
you need to be really good at, or in the workings of being good at fleet racing in general, just have good boat handling to be able to do the stuff that you need to do for team racing.
Anybody?
How do you get out of a mark trap?
You don't get in one.
Yeah. Once you're
anywhere?
Yeah.
there are some, and I'm sure there are others who can tell you better than I could. However, basically, you want to see it coming and try and avoid it beforehand. Once you're like up here, there's no real way to get out of it. You're kind of stuck. But if you see, like, if you know that, say, yellow's shouting to green, I'm going to do a pass back, or like a mark trap, get up here, then you know as blue that you're the one that's going to be held out. And so at that point, you can try a number of different things to get away from them. You can try slowing down, speeding up, like just mess with the yellow boat as much as you can to try and get some kind of separation there. If you have room to tack, if that would help you, then tack out of it. Just keep clear air, keep your speed up, and try not to get held out.
The boat in the middle should be doing exactly what the boat in the yellow boat is trying to do then. So blue should do exactly to green what yellow is trying to do to blue.
Right.
So if you mark trap green and say you're blue, and yellow mark traps you, effectively nothing
right.
happens.
And the other thing is stop
Everybody
the
was
boat.
stacked up there.
Yeah.
Stuck
Yeah.
until you get boiled.
Right.